The museum people were as good as their word. Thomas went at once into the workshop, where his buffer beam was soon straightened, and a new buffer bolted on. In the workshop was a green engine that looked like Flying Scotsman, but smaller. He was called Green Arrow. My brothers and I were built for fast goods trains, he said. But we did it so well that they let us pull expresses too, in the end. Now I'm the only one of my sort left. Green Arrow was friendly. That when Thomas was mended, he was sorry to see him leave. But back at the great railway show, he was thrilled to instead see one of Stepney's brothers, Box Hill, an engine that he remembered from the old days. Thomas was moved to a special position. There's no doubt about it, said his driver. You're a star attraction. Is that being a credit to the Fat Controller? Asked Thomas. He was anxious to make up for the parking ticket. One morning, Thomas's driver arrived in great excitement. We're to give rides on the demonstration line, he said. Thomas was delighted. The 3 demonstration lines were in different sizes. One narrow, and the third was used by a very wide engine called Iron Duke. This is broad gauge, he explained. The Great Western Railway used it until about 100 years ago. Thomas wondered if Duck knew about broad gauge. It would be nice to tell him something about a Great Western, he thought. The engines had to take great care because of the many visitors. Thomas was anxious. Some people were not as careful as he should have been. Thomas had never seen such crowds. We must watch out, he told his driver. What could happen if a child got in the line? Don't worry, Thomas, replied the driver. There are plenty of good, strong barriers, and we'll take care. But Thomas did worry. He was afraid that if in an emergency, he might not be able to stop on time. The next morning, Thomas felt better. The sun was shining, and he was looking forward to talking to Iron Duke again. He shunted happily backwards and forwards along the demonstration line all day. Then, nearly at closing time, it happened. Thomas saw something fly through the air and land on the rails in front of him. His driver saw it too. He put the brakes on hard. Whistled Thomas in alarm. I must stop! I must! Thomas shuddered to a halt, and a great cloud of steam wheezed noisily from his cylinder cocks. But he couldn't stop before he hit the bundle. It burst. Sandwiches and crisps flew in all directions, while a pop from a broken bottled fist opened over Thomas' wheels. In the crowd, a child, frightened by the steam, cried loudly, "I want to go home, Mommy! Now!" screamed the child. "You noisy great engine!" shouted his mother, waving her fist to Thomas. "I'm going to see the manager." "Oh dear," thought Thomas. "That's not a way to be a credit to the Fat Controller." "You did very well," his driver comforted. What a relief it was only a lunch packet and not a child on the line.